Chat, let me know in the comments, do you go to Starbucks? I gotta admit, I do go sometimes, but I am sick and tired of an Americano being $6. How dare you? I go to the local coffee shop and it's $4. This is why I think their downfall is happening. Let's get straight off into this.
Starbucks is struggling. Their profits are down by a whopping 50% following 6 straight quarters of losses, and a declining image has left one of America's most recognizable brands in a bit of a bind. They just recently announced that they'd be closing a swathe of stores as well as laying off 900 corporate staff members.
God.
This is after laying off another 1,100 corporate staff just in February. Customers are reporting high prices, long queues, and substandard product time and time again. And
also the coffees are straight up dog water trash. It's like when they're making it, they're just like,
Whoop de doo.
I don't care. Like, dude, the amount of times Cass and I have went to get a white chocolate mocha and they forgot to put in the freaking espresso, just sipping on hot milk and chocolate.
Staples like their pumpkin spice latte has lost its shine and left room for competitors to take their shot at the king, with great success in some cases. But it wasn't always like this. At one point, Starbucks was America's sweetheart. Their come up was a real hero's journey, the story of one man who turned a local coffee roaster into a global sensation, left, then came back and did it all again. But since those days, clearly quite a lot has changed, largely for the worst, and it's left Starbucks in a situation where it's fighting desperately, but doesn't seem to have quite as many customers in its corner as it once did. So sit back and let's learn why Starbucks fell off.
Because they're charging $9 for a crappy coffee, dude. That's why.
People tend to have quite strong opinions about coffee, especially about other people's coffee choices. Some people will look at you like you just admitted to drinking horse urine if you tell them.
Bro, for real. Hey, chat, what do y'all drink? What is your coffee of choice? Let me know in the comments right now, like, what kind of coffee do you actually drink? I want to know.
Venti frappuccino literally every morning.
Bro, if you drink a frappuccino, I'm gonna keep it a thou out. You deserve to be locked up. There's no reason you should be drinking a slushy that's made out of coffee.
All of our lives. It began in 1971 when 3 partners, Jerry, Gordon, and Zev, opened a little store in Seattle's Pike Place Market. They had no intention of actually making coffee. Instead, they sold like roasted coffee beans, teas, and spices. And they did fine, really. They became a staple of the local community, a place where you could go get your beans, come home, and then brew them for the family. But things changed in 1982 with the arrival of one man, and a name that you might want to remember, Howard Schultz. In 1982, Howard Schultz joined as head of marketing, and on one of his very first business trips, he visited Milan, Italy, and experienced something that would completely change his business back home: Italian coffee bars.
Bro, I heard these are so dank, the Italian coffee bars.
So at this time in the 80s, coffee culture in America largely revolved around drip coffee, served in a big mug or a styrofoam cup, often with free refills.
Hey, I used to drink on that Folgers. Don't be hating on that Folgers now. Best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Whoop de doo.
You know what I mean?
It was something that you would drink at a bar with friends and as a communal activity as much as for the caffeine. It was something that would be woven into your day-to-day.
Bro, I miss when people used to dress like this too. This is such a cool, like, just the way they look, the slim fit suits, the nice glasses. Like, people will be walking around in Walmart now wearing PJs, you know, with their ding-dongs and cha-chas out. I'm like, bro, dress appropriately.
Idea. Tried to bring it to America to create this real third place where people could grab a drink with their friends, hang out, and make coffee part of their social life instead of just fuel. But it was actually a controversial idea, so controversial in fact that none of the original Starbucks bosses wanted to accept it. And so Schultz was forced to leave, start his own cafe chain, implement these ideas, and did it to such great success that he ended up coming back and buying out Starbucks from its original owners just 4 years later. And this is where the Starbucks that you and I would recognize today actually began. Starbucks became this place where everything was designed for familiarity and comfort. They chose round tables because they were less isolating and more inviting. They encouraged customers to take their time with their drinks, and every detail was carefully curated to make their cafes into community spots to great success. They went from 6 stores in 1987 to 3,500 stores in the year 2000 when Schultz finally decided to step down as CEO. And when the 2008 recession finally hit and Starbucks was struggling once again, Howard Schultz came out of retirement like Pele or something to get them back to their roots of being this third place where anyone could hang out and have an affordable, social, communal drink with a friend. He shut down all of the Starbucks in America for a day to retrain the baristas on how to improve their espresso quality. They brought in new machines, and the company experimented with new menu items and leaned heavily into becoming an ethical community spot. And
I will say though, like if you guys have ever had like the cake pops or the sandwiches, their food is subpar, and the coffees are really not even that great either. I mean, they're okay. I get the basic stuff though, but from what I've found out, they put a lot of crap in their coffees. Like I looked at the pumpkin spice latte of how many ingredients is in it. I'm like, bro, this is insane.
Overnight to being incredibly individual. And the big winners from this were the drive-through coffee shops like Dutch Bros and Seven Brew, which grew steadily.
But chat, I live in Abilene, Texas, and we got a 7 Brew, an ounce coffee. We have a local coffee shop by the name of Monk's. We've got multiple Starbucks. There's Statesman Coffee. Bro, there's coffee shops everywhere. 7 Brew's pretty good. I don't really like their hot coffees though. Like their hot coffees are their iced coffees are pretty good. But what I've noticed is a lot of these coffee shops are now doing they're doing like energy drinks, the refreshers.
Want to be a community location where people can hang out.
I've noticed they started writing on the cups. Mine never looks that good though. Mine looks like they wrote it in a freaking frantic hurry.
The reality is that Starbucks is a $90 billion corporation, and they've done all of the same things that you'd expect from any other company that size. Over the last decade, they've really aggressively cut costs, they've deprioritized the look and feel of their stores, and they've focused on
looks like a freaking container, dude.
Squeezing more profits out of their once extremely loyal clientele. Having a place where people buy one drink and then sit around for an hour is a really bad way to make money every quarter. And so they started making more and more stores have less and less seating. Their staffing priorities focus.
This is so true. Like when I go into the one that I go into, it's like there's like no seating, and the only seating they have is like hard wooden chairs. And for me, I don't have a lot of tuchus meat, so it's tough for me to sit there for too long.
Before they break. Since the pandemic, inflation has been pretty intense, and it seriously hit the food and drinks world. But also by the time the pandemic had rolled around, the coffee business was already bigger than ever, and there were more and more options for everyone at any price point. So Starbucks had, to some degree, been able to justify its prices through all of the auxiliary perks that you would get along with your coffee. You get to sit in a nice location, you wouldn't feel rushed or pressured to leave, and you had things like free Wi-Fi at your disposal, so you could even work there. But their hand was kind of forced, and instead of doubling down on the third place model, they tried to align themselves more with the rapid delivery model. More and more coffee is consumed on the go, and the interior of a Starbucks has progressively shifted to meet the demand from those customers. And the $8 Starbucks cup of coffee doesn't quite feel as good when you order it from a drive-thru and drink it in your car as it does when you sit inside a nice environment with a friend. The more price-conscious consumer can make coffee at home now or trade down to an even cheaper coffee place like McDonald's.
Bro, so true. Like my local coffee shop, I can get Americano for like $4 or $5, you know, and I'll even tip. But at freaking Starbucks, for 2 coffees, because Cash usually gets like a white chocolate mocha and I get an Americano. And then I'll pay like $10 or $11 at Starbucks. At my local coffee shop, I pay $8 and I tip $1. So like it's only $7 and I'm tipping $1.
Money. I think Starbucks.
And Chad, do you guys tip at Starbucks? Keep it a thou wow. I do not. I'm like you did your job. I'm not tipping you.
Held on to this idea that they were a real third place when they haven't really been that for years. At their core, they're a fast food dessert shop that people go to for convenience and consistency. It's more like McDonald's than it is a local community diner. But McDonald's at least has the Big Mac. For Starbucks, far too much of their menu was replaceable, and their niche, unique offerings clearly haven't been enough to keep people hooked, especially not the prices that they're trying to sell them at. And their CEO has recognized this today. They've vowed to minimize...
Bro, this guy look like an earthworm. His head's so weird. Do I look like that, chat?
Price hikes going forward and focus their new strategy on bringing back the cozy interiors. But I think it might be too little too late, because while Starbucks has been doing layoff after layoff, closing stores and forcing AI into the stores that are still around, the competition has been innovating, listening to customers, and actually just like giving people what they're screaming out for. And this might not actually be that obvious if you live in the US, where you can still find Starbucks that are 200 meters away from each other, but it's a lot more obvious in other parts of the world, especially in China, where the story of Starbucks looks a lot more dire. When you think of coffee culture, China might not be the first country that jumps to mind, but maybe it should. China has taken some 800 million people out of poverty since the 80s, and in the process, they've created this whole new consumer class. This group of people who are looking for nice little treats to spend their money on. And Starbucks has been, for a while, desperate to fill that role. They opened their first Chinese branch in 1999 and used their first mover advantage to completely take over. At their peak, they had over 40% of the coffee market, but since then they've had a serious fall off. In less than a decade, they've gone from holding over 40% of the Chinese coffee market to under 15%. Starbucks had been gambling on this idea that as China became wealthier, consumers there would behave increasingly like Americans. Basically, they'd drink Starbucks and eat McDonald's. And in a way,
Bro, that stuff's terrible. Before I think that happened in Dubai, where they opened a lot of McDiesels and then everybody's all getting fat. Big bag. You got to be careful with that, man. You really do. Ain't that right, Loki? I've fallen at work and been injured. Oh wait, I should call my lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
Hey, John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. It's Levi Nichs of YouTube. Can I get some cash, please?
Morgan & Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $20 billion for their clients. $20 billion? That's a lot of cash. The insurance companies tried to lowball me, but Morgan & Morgan was able to take my pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. It's almost a good thing I was injured. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan gonna cost me? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful. So it's completely free unless you win? Yeah. Hiring a lawyer? That sounds like really difficult. It's actually super easy. You can just go to their website and in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. And you can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there is only one Morgan & Morgan. Wait, it's two names though. How is it? Give me the script. Oh, both their last names. Okay, I get it. Okay, roll it. You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Levi, found in the description below. So if you're injured, you can trust Morgan & Morgan. Looked like somebody woke up back there. You want a treat, bud? Free? Mr. Tired Pants? Wait. Has he put his eyes on the target of the treat? Free? Good boy. I try to pet him, but he's like, bro, you're good. You're good. Man, Starbucks closing like crazy, $10 coffee, super long lines. It looks like they're unionizing on some of these, bruh. I'll be honest, in the small little town I live in, Abilene, I guess it's not super small, it's like 150, 160,000 people, but still, we have like 3 Starbucks. We got one in Tarjay and then one on the opposite sides of town, but you're seeing a change. You're definitely seeing a change, and like, what I don't get, sorry Chad, got a little snot in my nose there. But this is just some baristas walking on. Y'all better get back behind that counter and start making my drinks.
Starbucks promised to finalize contracts with our union in 2024. You failed to do so because you refused to address our concerns about staffing and take-home pay. Starbucks won't thrive until we do.
There have been many nights where the night crew gets the short end of the stick, either because we have been understaffed with no pre-closure to help us close down the bars.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Maybe you are working hard, but it doesn't look like from your chin you haven't missed any meals.
Shots fired! And you disrupted tasks, and there is no one able to cover because of our understaffing. We have gotten out 45 minutes to even an hour later from our scheduled shift ending due to this understaffing, which is very irritating. It makes me feel like I'm forced to hand over my free time to this job when that shouldn't be the case.
The path that leads back to Starbucks begins with finalizing a fair union contract with the staffing, hours, take-home pay, and on-the-job protections we need to do our job.
Unionizing for being a coffee shop employee is crazy work. You want to unionize? Let's just use some Chat GPT real quick. Chat GPT, and ask what typical industries have unions. Unions for workers. Because I could understand like steel workers, factory workers, truck drivers even, automotive, steel and metal work, machinery, electrical, aerospace, textiles, paper printing, airlines, trucking and shipping, railroads, public transit, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, ironworkers, roofers, laborers, operating engineers, sheet metal, nurses and healthcare workers, hospital support staff, Grocery workers, fast food workers even get some. Fight for the $15 movement. Hotel, casino, restaurant workers unite here. Actors, writers, stagehands, musicians, journalists. I just don't see where making coffees is substantial enough to unionize for. Chad, am I insensitive for that? Even when I worked at a grocery store, I was 16 years old. We had a union, but I was like, I ain't gonna be here long. In my opinion, working at Starbucks is one of those jobs you get when you're younger and then you get out of it. Or if you want to retire and go work at Starbucks, go for it. In my opinion, I don't think you should try to make a career off of a grocery store, off of a Starbucks job. And I came from nothing, chat. I'm not sitting here saying like, I've got it made and I had all this privilege. No, I didn't. Y'all want to see the house I grew up in? I'll show you the house I grew up in. It is a rundown piece of crap house. Rundown piece of crap house. Let's see if I can't show you guys. This is the house I grew up in. Paris, Texas. Small little 3-2. That's what it looked like when I moved out. On a crappy street. Now, we didn't have as much trash in the yard, but that was the house I grew up in right there. I didn't come from privilege. I worked at grocery stores. I reffed soccer games. I went and got an education. I taught school for a little bit. I realized, I'm not really going to make a lot of money doing this, so I got into sales. I did corporate sales for a decade. Then I started my YouTube journey. I started investing correctly, saving, and then the big one here, living below your means. If you don't like your job, you live in the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. Go out there and do something else. Learn, and this is where it irks me, dude, with the entitlement. If you want to get paid a lot of money, you have to have a high income skill. Right now, chat, if you're sick of your job and you're like, Levi, I'm not getting paid enough, I'm working too much, it's because the skill that you have isn't correlating to a lot of money. Competency doesn't equal compensation. Just because you're smart and you know a lot doesn't mean you're going to get paid a lot. Like, look at what I do. YouTubers, content creators, some of these guys out here make buckets of money, handfuls of money. I'm making more money than I've ever made, ever. And I realize that what I do isn't the hardest thing in the world. There's surgeons out there that work way harder than me, truck drivers that are working way harder than me, guys that are roughnecks, day laborers, plumbers, electricians. Like, these guys are out there busting their butts 10 to 15 hours a day, but I've been lucky enough to find a field that not only do I feel like I'm good at it, but also it rewards me. I get compensated for it. And hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Like, I'm giving back to the community and I'm using my voice for something good. But it took me a really long time to find this, chat. This wasn't something that I just found at the age of 15. I was like, I'm gonna start doing YouTube. No, I didn't get to network my way to the top. I didn't get to leech off of someone else's career. I built this by myself. And I started at the age of 33. I started posting on TikTok, I started posting on Instagram, and then I started posting on YouTube. I started it from the ground up. So if you feel like you're not getting paid enough right now, be looking for other avenues where you could get paid more. Be resourceful. Resourcefulness is the only resource. I have some of you guys reach out to me and I appreciate it, but sorry, I'm stopped up like a toilet at Denny's at 4 a.m. after chili extravaganza night. When you guys reach out to me, I appreciate you guys reaching out to me because it tells me that you trust me and that you care about what I have to say and that you maybe want my opinion because you think I'm an authority in some way, which I appreciate. I'm humbled by that. But at the same time, the best thing I can tell you is resourcefulness is the only resource. It's a Tony Robbins quote. If you want to go find out how to start your own YouTube channel, get on YouTube, how to start a YouTube channel, what programs to use to create content. Go learn it, go figure it out. That's something that I look for. Like, I have a guy that does clips for me on Facebook. That's something I looked for when I found him. I was like, does he have resourcefulness or does he just need to be led? I've had so many emails of guys being like, Levi, let me make clips for you. And I'm like, okay, let me see some clips. And they're like, well, can you send me the raw files? I'm like, I already don't want to work with you. Because you're depending on me too much. There's YouTube video to 1080p converters online. Take the video URL, turn it into a video and do it yourself. Go figure it out. I need people that go figure things out. And with this whole victim mentality and saying, well, we don't get paid enough and we're not getting taken care of, like, you got to be able to solve your own problems without somebody else telling you what to do. Like, and it sucks. Is that a sad reality? Yeah, it is. Is it fair? No. The world isn't fair. Nothing worth having You know, things that are worth having are worth working for. And so I believe if you work really hard, you should be compensated and you should be rewarded for that. And I worked really hard for this. A lot of you guys have been with me since I had, 5,000 subscribers, and I appreciate y'all. 10,000 subscribers, 15,000. But I wouldn't have got this success if I wouldn't have posted every day and tried to be better, tried to learn more, tried to crack more jokes, tried to format my show a little bit differently, do longer episodes, say thank you to you guys. There's a lot of things that go into it. I guess the basic message, I'm kind of rambling here, but the basic message is like, don't give up on yourself because you haven't figured it out yet. I was 33 when I started doing this. It takes time, dude. It takes time. And I didn't have any handouts. Nobody's helped. Nobody's put me on. I've collaborated with guys like Jack Morgan, the Dadvocate, Andrew Wilson, Jake from Rattlesnake TV. I've interviewed them, talked to them, had them on my show and stuff like that. But like, none of them were like, hey, Levi, let me put you on. Let me help grow your channel. And it's not their job to do that. It's nobody's job to do that. It's my job to grow my channel. It's my job to work hard. And so for these people wanting to unionize for making lattes, it's like, bro, you're not doing anything that's, in my opinion, worthy of needing to be unionized. You make coffees in a long line. If you really don't like it, when you get off of work, go learn a high-income skill and then go get a job in that field. This is what I did before I started doing this full-time. I worked a 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9, I did YouTube. Did it suck? Working 9 to 9 every day and balancing a relationship, balancing being a dog dad, balancing bills. It sucked, man. It wasn't fun. But I want you guys to use me as an inspiration to say, well, Levi did it. And you guys know I'm stupid. I'm not smart. I don't claim to be a brainy. I'm pretty sure if I took the IQ test, I'd maybe have a 90 or 100. Maybe. Bro, I'm not, like, even out of my friend group, not the smartest guy. Never have been. I was talking to my buddies about this the other day, about being, like, saying that you're stupid. It's so freeing. Because when people ask you questions and you feel like you're smart, you have to answer every question. Your life turns into a test. For me, if I don't know, I just go, I don't know, you tell me and we'll both know. I have no idea. I'm dumb. I'm good at a couple things. I'm good at talking. I'm good at entertaining. I'm good at memorizing some facts. And I have a lot of opinions, a lot of strong opinions. And some people like them, some people love them, and some people hate them. And you just have to be okay with that. I don't even know why I got off in this tangent. But Starbucks, the whole Starbucks thing, man. Like, do I feel bad for some of these people? Yes, I do. Because you know what? They're out there. They are working. And it's not like they're not working. But you got to think, you're making lattes. You're not digging trenches. You're not, burying power lines. You're not roughnecking. These things are a lot different. And if you want to make Starbucks your career, I say good luck to you. And the best thing you should do if you want to make something like that your career, rub up next to the manager, learn a lot from them, be buddy-buddy with the manager, and then go learn from the district manager, and then go learn from the regional manager, and then go learn from an enterprise manager that manages the Northeast division. Like, you have to be willing to rub shoulders. If you go in every day and do the bare minimum, you're going to get the bare minimum out. That's why when I worked corporate, I was always like, let me be buddy-buddy with my manager. Let me be buddy-buddy with the best rep. I want to talk to them all the time, ask them questions. I want to be their genuine friend. And you can be a genuine friend and still get things out of people. Go get to know them personally. Talk to them, ask them questions, learn about their family, their kids, the way they move, the way they think, what their hobbies are. Have a genuine conversation, build a bond, and then learn what they do at the job. And if you don't want to do that, I almost biggity bet you there is a book out there that could help you in whatever industry you're in. I had somebody hit me up on Facebook, I believe, the other day. And I think they work for like a cruise line or sell something with a cruise line. And they're like, Levi, I know you said you were in sales. I need help. I need help with everything. And I just sit there and think, even if I dumped all the knowledge I have to you and gave you everything right now, it wouldn't be enough. Because you have to have that intrinsic drive to want to figure it out yourself. If you're constantly waiting for the extrinsic things to happen to you, the intrinsic is never getting nurtured. You have to want it. It's that need. It's that hunger that you just can't teach. If any of you guys have played sports, or if any of you guys have You know, worked a job that's physically laborious, or you even worked honestly, any kind of job. Put in one in the chat if you've ever seen this. There's people that some of them show up early and they stay late and they work their butt off because they have a hunger. They're always in a good mood. They show up early, they stay late, they grind it out, they pick up other people's work, they pick up the slack, they say yes to everything. That's not a taught quality, in my opinion. And the reason I feel like I can speak on this is because when I was a teacher, it was my job to kind of point this stuff out. Oh, does this kid have hunger? Do they want it, or are they just here to get another credit? A lot of kids are just there because, like, I'm in band, Mr. Nichols, because I just want to kind of move on. Like, okay, cool. But some kids genuinely wanted to get better and wanted to be really good. And you can just see that. That hunger is something you can't teach that. You can't teach hunger. Now, I mean, maybe to this guy right here you could teach hunger. But even then, I doubt it. Let me show you guys this. Bro, I got some more clips on Twitter. I'm sorry, I got off in such a random tangent. Oh my God. Big back. A dadgum forklift picked this man up. This is the world we live in, where you need a forklift to get out of your bedroom. This is ridiculous, bro. How is this man not dead? How is he not had? You're taking up the resources of multiple fire trucks and a crane to get out of your house. I wonder if he's going to Starbucks. Look at him just laying there. Can't do anything. We have a obesity crisis right now in America. This is truly sad, bro. This is pathetic. I don't think this is AI either. I think this is real. This is ridiculous. How have we gotten to this point where people are this big? Man's on straight line. How has he not had a heart attack yet? I got my labs drawn the other day just to see how I was doing. And I'm relatively healthy for my age, but my cholesterol's a little high. And I'm like, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm 6'2", 180. When I weighed myself this morning, I was 184. 6'2", 184. I can do body weight push-ups, body weight squats. I can do 20 pull-ups. I'm pretty fit, but I'm like, there's levels to this, and I could be even more fit. Oh my Lord. Big back. This has got to be AI. Oh yeah, this is AI for sure.
I'm suing.
How you gonna sue if you can't even stand up? You know, this is crazy. Crazy work. The internet is a wild place, man. The internet is a wild place. I've been seeing some things, bro. I've been seeing some things. Oh yeah, so this clip is I think this is an old video, but this clip has been going around. It kind of goes back to the point I was talking about of having an education having competency doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get compensated. You know, that's a good one. Having competency doesn't mean you're going to get compensated. Shubba-danaya, shoulda bought a Honda, put it on a t-shirt. This is proof of that right here. So apparently at this college, these kids can choose their own major. Just listen to what some of these majors are, bro.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm graduating from NYU Gallatin, and my concentration is economic inequality in the U.S. and Caribbean.
Period. Hey, my name is Nayeli. I'm from Gallatin, and my concentration is spiritual healing.
In spiritual healing, you went into debt. Stupid. For spiritual healing. Baby girl, go touch some grass and maybe read the Bible.
Gotcha, bitch. Hi, my name is Eliel, and I concentrated in Black storytelling.
Black storytelling? What about white storytelling? What about yellow storytelling or green storytelling? Is there other colors that you can do? Or?
Hey, my name is Gabby. My concentration is called Exploring Colonialism and Sustainable Economic Development.
What does that mean? Exploring colonialism and sustainable economic development.
Period.
Okay, colonialism, I guess, is colonizing certain places, and sustainable economic development. You want to build a skyscraper, it's going to be hard to make something sustainable.
I'm Alexia, and my concentration is creativity as communication, how the arts act as a language outside of verbal communication. Period.
Period. Oh my God. The level of dum-dum right there. That is just stupid. Colonialism inside of spirituality, outside of healing, inside of gentrification and socioeconomic development, and the socioeconomic impact of the compassionary ways of the world. And then they wonder, they're like, Why can't I get a job? Nobody wants to hire me. You got a degree in spiritual healing, bruh. What are you gonna do with that? They're gonna probably end up at Starbucks. Shots fired! Those are all the women that end up at Starbucks, entitled, thinking they deserve to be unionized and getting paid all this money because you got a degree in spiritual healing. I don't know. Chad, am I insensitive for saying that? People that make lattes. I just feel like making coffees, working at a grocery store, working fast food is like, unless you want to be a manager and you have aspirations and that hunger to want to manage and be a regional manager and things like that, you can go that route. But I feel like a lot of these people just get these jobs because they're easier jobs. Like, I bet if I asked 10 women, would you rather work at Starbucks and be a roughneck in an oil field? I almost biggity bet you all of them would say, yeah, I'm working at Starbucks. Or if I asked 10 women, would you rather be a plumber, an electrician, or work at Starbucks? I almost bet 10 out of 10 are saying, I'll go make lattes in the AC. You know, there's just so many harder jobs out there, and you don't see guys complaining about this stuff because these jobs are physically laborious, and they're out there doing things that nobody else wants to do. I believe plumbers should be paid $100,000 plus a year. I believe electricians should be paid $100,000 plus a year. I believe truckers should be paid six figures and more a year because nobody wants to do those freaking jobs. You want to start mowing lawns? You want to be an arborist? Or would you rather sit in the AC and make lattes? I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying. Ain't that right, Lokes? But let me know if I'm insensitive, chat. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It was good to have you guys out, man. Until next time. Peace.
Levi Nichs.